Hello, beautiful people, everybody here. Easy win for Arsenal, to be honest. I can't lie. Very, very simple win as Gunnar Solskjaer expected. And the unexpected is a 0-0 at home against Southampton. This is supposed to be an easy game. It's supposed to be an easy game. I'm here with Miss United and Gunnar Solskjaer for the instant match reaction. How are you, everybody? How are you feeling, Miss United? This Casemiro, 2 red cards in 3 games. I'm sure you're disappointed, huh?
That one was a robbery, though. It should be, you get the ball first, get a little leniency, But just overall, that reffing display was it was suspect overall. I'm not going to lie. We didn't deserve to win, but the reffing didn't help, especially, just seeing, like, Anthony get manhandled all game. It was a whole mess. But, hey, these things happen, and, Southampton's never actually easy. Like, on paper, it should be a write-off, but historically, always kind of a tough game.
100% Gunnar Solskjaer, easy win. Walk in the park. As you said yesterday in the show, you said this is going to be an easy win for us. Nobody can come close to us at the moment. And it looked like so easy for you to break down this Fulham team without Palhinha. I'm not going to give excuses and say no Palhinha, no nothing, no thing. That you didn't have a striker. Trossard looked sharp. So it was just easy.
Yeah, man, business as usual. We're back to our winning ways. We're back to not struggling in these games. We're back to not coming back. I'm still waiting. When's this crumble happening? All the rivals telling me, here's where Arsenal's going to drop off. Arsenal's going to drop off. It's going to crumble. They're going to come back to reality. I don't need the Liverpool PTSD. We're different. Stop begging it. Stop begging it, you Liverpool fans. Stop begging us to be the same as you. You man crumble for 4 seasons. That doesn't mean we're going to do that. We're built different. We've got a different manager. And I've said it again, and I'll say it again. Welcome to the Arteta era.
And we're joined by Igal and Daps actually now. Igal, that smile is fantastic. Igal is like,
am I in as well?
You are. Everybody's in. Yes, 100%.
Absolutely smashed them, bro.
Can I just clear one thing up? Yeah.
Okay.
Stoles, I hope you're not including me in that crumble chit chat, please.
If the shoe fits. If you've said it.
No. Right, cool. So you're not then in that.
No. It's people who have said it, like even yesterday's show.
Because you know what? I was actually going to come on here and talk about Fulham's. Start off by talking about how sloppy Fulham were in the first half, right? And then I thought, no, fuck that. Because although it does need to be spoke on, I'm not going to discredit Arsenal. And I think to do that and start off like that, like I kind of had a bit of a go at Igal last week on Sunday, where after Arsenal had won, he came on and started talking about referee decisions against Arsenal. I said, bro, you don't need to do that. Talk on the fact you won. Talk on the fact. And like Fulham's defence, I'm me as a City fan watching it, I'm a little bit pissed off because I wanted to see Fulham play like they have a lot this season. But in that first half, like, I'm sorry, the Odegaard goal, the 3rd goal, yeah. Firstly, great finish, great bring down by Odegaard. But how any player can have that much time in the box with 4 defenders round him, right? And he did everything he had to do, right? But it was mad similar to like a FIFA goal when you're playing against someone that is shit on FIFA, right? And doesn't know how to select the next defender to move the defender. It was just, but you know what? This is the thing. You're spot on, Souls, with Arsenal, right? Anyone that's saying Arsenal are going to crumble, we haven't really seen no signs of it. All right, you lost to City, right? And then I think, did you lose one other game the week before or the week?
Yeah, no, we lost Everton after.
Everton, new manager.
Yeah, the FA Cup and then Everton. Then Brentford, we dropped points.
In a City chat I'm in, someone just put, how do Arsenal keep winning? And I put, because they're a good team. Like, we need to understand, yeah? And I'm not saying we're not going to win the league, right? But we have to keep being the best Man City, right? And that will mean that we beat you at the Etihad, yeah? if we're the best Man City. But we still need you, man, to drop 2 points somewhere, right? Now, I've got my games I'm looking at, but everyone needs to understand and stop this whole Arsenal are going to, right? They might. I hope they do. But it now is at a point where, and to be honest, the point was probably 3 months ago where people just need to respect that Arsenal are actually a good team. Like, they're not the team of old now. They're a different team. Now, you two, I'm going to leave you to talk on it. But Man United, Manchester United, right? Mr. Mentality Casemiro. 2 weeks on the
Let me just get Igal to say something about Arsenal before I go to Miss United, because I know she's gonna rant about that. No, actually, she said that she doesn't think it's a red card, and I actually agree with her 100%. I actually agree with her. I don't know about the Arsenal guys. You guys who watching the Arsenal game, I was watching both. I agree with her. But Igal, easy win.
London's red. All I have to say. 5 for 5. Clean sheets away from home this season. We went to Chelsea, clean sheet, won that game. Went to Tottenham, clean sheet, won that game. Went to Brentford, clean sheet, won that game. Went to Palace, clean sheet, won that game. All 5 of these games. You guys keep talking about mentality. To go away from home to all these London derbies and to put in the performances that we've had this season just shows that we're on a different level and our character is different. It's not the same old Arsenal. We kept talking about that for years now. Same old Arsenal, same old Arsenal. This is truly not the same old Arsenal. We don't go 5 for 5 in London derbies away from home. We don't have a situation where we've already surpassed our our goal tally from the year before. This is the real deal. And I'm not overhyping it because of a win versus Fulham. You have to look past that. It's the fact that we're finally starting to get our players back fit. Jesus is back. Trossard is back, and he puts in the hat trick the way he does. Gabriel Magalhaes loves a goal versus Fulham, if you don't know. He's now scored 3 times against Fulham.
Sorry, what was the final score in the end?
3-0 at the end.
Oh, right. Yeah.
3-0 at the end, right? Yeah. And also, it could have easily been 5 if Xhaka had his shooting boots on. If the first goal that was ruled offside was onside. We easily could have had way more in this game. And the goal difference, that's another key thing. Goal difference is now creeping up on Man City. We're getting closer and closer with that goal difference because it's not only about points. If we can get the goal difference, that's another bridge that we can think. And also, finally, Mikel Arteta, his 100th win at Arsenal. Today,
absolutely fantastic, Igal. Like, listen, they look so good. Daps, just let me do the super chat. Let me do the super chat.
Already?
Yeah,
so 100
wow,
wins.
That's quick, you know.
100 wins. Jesus, amazing flick to set up his chance only to hit it straight at the keeper. Our number 9 is back. Fantastic performance. Leo, best January signing out. Trossard. What a player. I said he has to get a starting position even if Jesus is fit. But Miss United, that red card. Did you think that you were on top before that red card? I want to go a little bit to Man United. Did you think you were on top before that red card? Were you controlling the game enough being against Southampton?
I don't think so. Yeah. No, I don't think that we were on top beforehand. I think that Southampton had a really good handle on the game. I think Kyle Walker-Peters kind of sewed that side up. And I think that their back line was kind of really manhandling our forward line. That said, the ref could have been better in that respect, and it kind of got out of hand in many regards. But I think it was either even or kind of slightly edging towards Southampton. But I think after the red card, actually, we did a better job of kind of taking care of the threat, which is kind of funny when you think about it, especially since until McTominay came on, there was no like natural defensive midfielder going there, which says, people kind of only talk about Bruno's offensive output. He's really good defensively. Same with Antony. And that, really helped us in the long run there, but it just, it was just not a comedy of errors, but it's symptomatic of a greater trend where since like that Barcelona game, I'd say things have kind of been going downhill, mostly because they're tired. Ten Hag doesn't rotate a lot. The squad isn't that deep. And so you see these sloppy mistakes coming in. And you see the sloppy, like a month ago, they were playing very good, very well together. But now you see these sloppy mistakes like the red cards coming in because, they're tired. Like that's when mistakes happen. And so was it really a red card? No. But I mean,
is it borderline red card at least? Either way. Is it borderline?
How long's he out for? Is it 3 games? Will it be 3 games?
This is the second one. 4 games.
No, I
But
think you
gotta
get
get
only.
the
Do you
ball.
get only a game extra when you receive 10 yellow cards, or because it's the second yellow, you get a game extra as
Oh,
well?
second
red
red.
card.
Second red card, hence because it's his second red card, he gets an additional violent conduct.
Mhm.
To be
Could it
honest,
be
I don't
like,
think it was a red
was
card.
it a bad enough decision that it could be overturned?
No.
It was
don't
it
think
was
so.
like it was like
Right.
it was just like he got the ball first, and then his foot rolled off the top of the ball into
Yeah.
the guy's shin, and it's like,
It is a
come
red
on.
card. I'm
I
not
think it's
gonna lie.
unlucky. No, goodness knows. You slow it
No,
down.
no, no,
Yes,
no.
it looks like a
No,
red card.
unlucky.
Let
No,
me
no,
just
no.
let
This
me
has
just
been given for plenty of seasons to
exactly.
stop. To save
However,
this.
it's not the
At least they're
follow through.
consistent.
His foot really bounced off the ball.
Yeah, like it
Sometimes-
literally
No,
like
but he
hits the ball
lunged, he
first.
lunged into the tackle though. He didn't go into the ball.
It
like,
was
oh,
too
a
far. I
contact.
thought it was
Not
too
He
about
went
far.
straight to the ball.
Yeah,
You
but
got
he
to remember,
lunged in.
Moses is
rolled
not a
on.
United fan.
Both his feet were off the ground anyway, so he lunged in.
sometimes
No.
it's not about the
I don't think
contact.
it was.
an
It
out.
was
a-
blatant.
no, it's 100% a red
No,
card.
I
I've seen
don't
that
think it was
completely
blatant, to
disagree.
be honest. No,
And
it's
it's-
very
If you
harsh.
watch it in
No,
real
no,
time,
but
even
then,
if you
then
watch it
no,
in
no,
slow-mo,
but then the red card rule is inconsistent because they've consistently given this. This is the one
Listen,
time I actually say,
English
fair
refs
play.
are inconsistent off the bat. They're all inconsistent. They have no consistency. They refuse to implement VAR correctly because they have their own egos to deal with. And it's just a mess. The whole league's reffing system is a mess. I've never seen it this bad.
Okay,
Any
can I ask
league
you a
in
question?
sport, they're a disgrace.
I'm watching it back right now. I didn't watch the game, but I'm watching it back right now. He gets the ball, yes, but he also goes through a player who had his
No,
foot
but did you
planted.
see his foot bounce off the ball? It's not the follow through.
Listen, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
The fact is, if he would have broken his leg, no one here would have said it wasn't a red.
Yeah, but hold on. His son broke somebody's leg a couple of seasons ago, and it got overturned. Sometimes you break someone's leg, and it's unlucky. You did it. I don't think it was reckless that much to be overturned by VAR to be a record. They slowed it down, and it looked like the screen wanted him to get the record, like the VAR, because they kept showing
So
one
Mo,
screen.
so the simplest question is ultimately, in your opinion,
No, it won't.
will the FA overturn it?
No, because it's
No, it
Manchester
won't.
United.
There we go then. So it's neither way. It's pretty.
It's not going to be overturned because,
And
as
If
you
it's not a
guys
red, it'll
said,
get overturned. Let's be
Does
real. Like,
second offender also matter? Do they care that it's a second offense?
yeah, but that's what you get. He's gonna get
What?
an extra
Point.
record, an extra game. Sorry, but is this United season in the Premier League done in terms of like chasing something, Miss United? Like this is,
I mean,
or you're still in the
Go on.
top four?
the goal was
hurdle?
never to chase it. It was top four, and the cup. Top four in the cup was the only goal, and that was optimistic, especially after last season. Like last season was like the worst season of my entire life. Like worse than any Jose season, worse than what it was just. And so the only hope was top four in the trophy. And so we already have the trophy, and top four. That's just we need to maintain top four.
Yeah.
But I'd rather end the season
I'm
now.
just gonna say
on
this.
a
I don't
good
think
form, but
I don't think Manchester United fans. I don't think Manchester United fans are going to be expecting to be competing for the league this season. So they're probably happy with the state that they're in.
But they have to start top four, bro.
Yeah, of course.
I think if we're being right, so I predict. I think that United will get. So I'm just trying to. I was just checking my speed, make sure it's not me that's lagging.
No.
I think United will get top four, right? And I'm pretty confident they'll get top four. They'll go further in the FA Cup. I don't think they'll win the FA Cup, but that is what it is. They've got the domestic cup. I think Europa League for me. I'm still. If I had to pick a team in the Europa League, I'm going with United because of the fact that in Europe, I think if they can't, like I've said before, I think if they play Arsenal another 2-3 times in the league, Arsenal get the better of them every time. However, in Europe, I think United beat Arsenal in Europe. But I do think that if if Man United finish fourth, I know, United fans will say, look, we know what our objectives were, Champions League football, blah, 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 all of that. But if United finish fourth, I do feel that's a bit of a conversation, a bit of a letdown of a season, that maybe your season hasn't been as good as maybe at times you thought it might be.
Yeah. For me, let me add Michael to the stream here with us as well. Let me add Michael.
Pick me out whenever you want, Mo.
No, it's all right.
You're
You're okay. You're okay. Let me just get Mike in. A Man United fan, of course, Mike, and see what he has to say about the game today. Michael, welcome. How are you? How are you feeling after this game? Southampton. It's not looking good.
No, I'm not doing too good right now. Obviously, I'm getting cooked on Twitter right now because I said top 4 isn't a lock, and all the Man United fans are coming after me now because it's what it is. But I don't know. I think even though we're down to 10 men, drawing against Southampton is still kind of embarrassing because it's still at home. You still got to win the game. But I guess it was professional enough to get the point. But I'm not really going to complain about referees because it's what it is. We all know the referees are kind of inconsistent in this league because yesterday we all saw the Leicester-Chelsea game. Joao Felix got absolutely almost broke his ankle, and that wasn't a red card, but it's what it is. But I don't know. I just think our performances have been lacking for a minute now. In the league, especially in the cup games, we've still been doing better. But I know Casemiro for four games, including the FA Cup. So I don't know. I think we're kind of inserting ourselves into the lower pack, like the Liverpool, Spurs, Newcastle, when we used to be a month ago within the cities and Arsenal. So I think it's just kind of dwindling down for us.
Yeah, 100%. And we welcome Miss United back to the. I don't know what happened to the Man United game today. Like it looks like they were never, as I said in the beginning, they were never in control. I didn't like the way they approached the game. The Sancho and the Bruno Fernandes. It's too. I like it's too attacking lineup without actually attacking. You weren't actually attacking enough, Miss United. But before we do that, people, I want you guys to hit that like button for me. We're not even on 100 likes, and we got 200 people watching. So please hit that like button for us, for this beautiful lot here with me. Miss United, I know you're not going to stay for long, and I wanted to get your final thoughts when you left. We were talking about the top 4. Is that the target now? And if you only get top 4 and you only get the Carabao Cup, is that a failure or that's exceeding expectations? How do you see the season going from here after you're definitely not in a title race anymore?
Just before you say that, I was going to bounce, but I was going to say, if you guys want me back on, let me know anytime. I'm going to go.
100%. Love, man.
Love,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so like I said before, like our expectation, our hope was top 4 in a trophy. So that's already like not already sewn up, but like likely if they dropped out of the top 4, that'd be wild, to be honest. Like where would that'd be disastrous run of form, like that would come out of nowhere. But I think what we're seeing is that since there was like talk of like a title race, mostly from like people not United fans, then it's kind of disappointing to not be in that upper pack of the top 4, not like kind of being in the mix a little bit. So if they get back into the mix, that would be better. But I don't think anyone disappointed at when the season ends with top 4 and a trophy, especially if we went further into the other cups, because we're still in like FA Cup and Europa League. So like if we do some decent runs there and keep top 4, then I'd say people are happy. But yeah, so, that's pretty much
really,
no one's expecting too much from the season to begin with.
I do think you, like I said, I do think Europa League, you really might win that, right? Would there not be a bit of you, like if you end up finishing 4th behind Tottenham, Liverpool's probably more. Yeah, I get it, but it might happen. Tottenham or Liverpool. Would there be a bit of you that wouldn't think like, I'm not going to say, right, I'm definitely not saying to question Ten Hag. I like Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag is a good manager. But maybe first season naive it is that maybe the drop-off from where you were. I mean, there was, look, I'm not saying anyone on this panel or any Man United fan was saying they were in a title race. But all other fans were saying you were in a title race because mathematically you definitely were in a title race. Now all of a sudden, I guess the conversation could quite easily swing to you're in a fight for top 4. And could that be that maybe Eric thought it was just a little bit easier than he thought?
I think the question of naivete is something I would have had before the season started, but Ten Hag's really exceeded my expectations. Coming from the Netherlands into the Premier League, which is the most competitive league in Europe, he's far exceeded my expectations just by adapting and understanding what needs to go on. And I think that speaks to, the approach he takes to the game and kind of like the intellectual unpacking he does. Like he said before he came that he's diagnosed the problems, kind of like he's really looked into it before he got the job.
I agree with you. I agree with you, right? And I agree. Like the first time I really started saying this guy's a good manager is one of his first interviews on Sky, where they interview him on the pitch straight after the game, right? And the way he approaches interviews is similar to Pep. That if the questions are kind of clickbaity, looking for reaction questions, he just doesn't rise to it. But if the question is about football, then his brain opens up and he's like, oh, we can talk on football all day long because I can do football. And I agree with what you're saying about the way he's approached games. However, if we look at the Liverpool game and then we look at this game, I'm questioning his tactical approach to games, to be honest with you. Like,
I mean, that's a question, but also like I was saying, they're tired. This is for years we've been dealing with the symptoms of a lack of depth. City doesn't have these problems because City has like two first 11s.
no, we don't. No, we don't.
I mean,
That's way too simple. Trust me, go and look at it. We don't.
False narrative. False narrative.
False
False narrative.
okay, but we don't have that depth, or haven't actually rotate effectively. And so given that, and given the fact that he doesn't rotate overall, you see the tiredness creeping in. It's being in 4 competitions isn't easy. That run like that Barcelona, like the Europa League, and then like the League Cup in there, and then like all that time period, that was a really rough run. Those are all big games in a tight time frame, like 2-3 weeks. And so like that takes a lot out of the players. And so like that's why I think they're currently going through this bad spell. And that said, what was it? The loss against Liverpool, which affects goal difference, but one loss, then bouncing back, winning 4-1 in the Europa League, and then this is a draw. It's not that bad. It's just the way that they're playing does concern me because it just seems like they're all leggy. They're all leggy.
No, do you know what it is? I wouldn't blame it on Ten Hag personally. I think this is what he's now going to need to do is build that depth, and it's gonna take time. I do think it's a little harsh to question him because of that, but I think he's a phenomenal manager. What he's done is definitely exceeded even rivals' expectation. Because I know it's weird saying United, your objectives are top 4 and maybe win a trophy is a bit weird because growing up it's like you're meant to be champions, you're challenging for titles. But you can definitely see a bit of that coming back, and especially with kind of what he's going through in terms of an ownership change potential, like takeover talk. He doesn't really know what could be happening. He's handled it well. I mean, in his first, I know we praise Arteta, but he done it in his second season. He's kind of got a bit of credit with the FA Cup and everything. Ten Hag had to make a big decision getting Ronaldo out of the club against, I will say it, like against a lot of your fan base's happiness, really, because there were still people wanting him at the club despite obviously what he said. So he's got to take a lot of credit, benching Ronaldo, not playing certain players because they haven't been good enough, the benching of Rashford, like bearing in mind this is his first season where, in my opinion, he's got no credit in the bank. He shouldn't, I'm not saying it's unheard of, but a Pep Guardiola, for example, is a pedigree name. Whatever he does, the fans get behind. Ten Hag is still making his name. I get it. He's done what he's done at Ajax, and he got them to a semi-final, etc. But he's still not a pedigree name. He's still not, the elite of a manager.
Yeah. He's a name, yeah. He is a name, but he's proved. For me, he was a name that, for me personally, and I know I'm the one that was just, look, I'm helping my host, so I'm asking questions. Me personally, he has proven himself, right? He has, yeah. First season, phenomenal what he's doing. Some of the things he's had to do is similar with when I spoke on Arteta's first season, that people maybe don't speak about some of the things that I feel he did that was off the pitch, that was massive. Like some of the choices he had to make and decisions he had to make off the pitch, the way he cut the wage bill, the way he got rid of, a lot of players that maybe weren't pulling in his direction. The same thing that Ten Hag has done the same things. The Ronaldo thing was huge, like massive. That has basically steered the way that he can deal with any player, right? Yeah. However he wants now. And no player can tell him that, oh no, that's because of this. No, it's not. Because if he was going to be steered by anything, it would have been the power of Cristiano Ronaldo. And he wasn't approached by that. So if he can bench him, if he can put him with the youngers, he can do it to anyone. And that is set in stone his whole time at Man United now.
Now, I think it was really important to do that, to be honest, because before the season started, Ronaldo was my main concern because he was off, gallivanting about Europe, doing who knows what, because he wanted to leave. And he didn't tell the club in time. There wasn't a way to get him out properly. And so the Ronaldo situation was always going to be a problem because despite people saying, oh, he scored a lot last year, not barely. For every 1,700 shots he took, he scored one maybe. And don't get me started. But really, like no, literally though, it's it's the ego problem and how the squad plays. Even earlier half of this year, before the World Cup, you see when Ronaldo was on the pitch, you see everyone gravitating towards him, trying to like funnel shots towards him or funnel chances towards him rather, and that just affects how Ten Hag wants to play. He's a system type manager, and so to have the system work, you need everyone pulling together and having everything working together, and that dealing with that. Trying to get Ronaldo to play in the system, that was already a big thing because he even managed that well. And then before Ronaldo went off and did his interview, like things were going well-ish, and then he dealt with it well afterwards and kept everyone on board. He kept the whole like squad on board, and that's kind of it's similar to what Arteta did with like Aubameyang and Guendouzi. And I used to joke about him, putting everyone in timeout. And still being an eighth, but that you needed that cultural reset, and that's what we also needed, that cultural reset, and Ten Hag is bringing that. And I think he also had that credit in the bank because literally 90% of the fan base wanted him specifically all of last year. They didn't want Conte, they didn't want Pochettino, they wanted Ten Hag, and so they're gonna bet on their horse, And so I really think he's done a good job, just in terms of changing that mentality, and then even before potential new owners come in, they're already talking about restructuring the wage bill. We have people like De Gea on $375K a week, which is ridiculous, especially for the performances he puts in. So getting rid of those dynamics and saying, well, I'm not going to play whatever, or I need this, I need that, high salary, pushing for 400K is not happening anymore. And so this is what we needed to get back on track, a disciplinarian, but one who's kind of like that teacher who's like, they're strict, but they'll give you, they'll joke around a bit. That's him. And he's a fighter too. That's in his players he's brought in are fighters.
So how do you think you let me say bounce back from this? Because before the international break, you've got
FA Cup,
and you've got Europa League. I think Europa League, you're kind of you're halfway there, maybe 2/3 of the way there on that one. But do you expect 2 wins before the
I don't know about 2 wins. I would like it, but it seems like the way that he coaches them mentally, like say like after the Brentford game, he took them on that like huge run and was like, "No, we're not losing." And you see the Real Betis game, they bounced back. I think the next game will probably win, but I don't know about both games because, like I said, they're just tired.
Is Fulham home or away?
Home.
Home. Fulham is home. The FA Cup, they got lucky with that draw. But anyway, Fulham are not great. Anyway, we saw them today. People, we're not on 100 likes yet, so I need you guys to hit that like button. I need you guys to hit that like button for me, please. I want to get to Arsenal, top of the league, 5 points, comfortable win today. Souls, what a performance to respond to all the people that said you're going to crumble yesterday. Tell me about that. Tell me about the crumble. That didn't happen.
Now, do you know what it was? The narrative's building up, like, Arsenal, it's too early in the season to be doing all these comebacks. It's too early to be doing this. It's too early to be doing that. To then just come here and go, do you know what? Everyone's like, oh, Fulham at home, it's not an easy place to go. And we made them look average. We made them look shit. Like, I know they were bad, but we made them look bad. Look at even after the 3-0, we started toying with them. We were like, you know what? Let's just freestyle this. Let's just play one touch Arsene Wenger football. The flicks, the tricks started coming out. Odegaard nutmegging people. It was just fun. It was like the second half was Arteta was like, guys, conserve your energy. Go play like you're playing your boys in the park. Just go have fun. And that's what we did. We didn't care about score. We didn't need to score. We had the 3 goals. If the goal came, it came. But it's the mentality of this team. It's like we're 3-0. And this is what I spoke about yesterday. I mean, look, I know Daps is definitely going to come back to me on this one. But you know when we see Man City prior to the season being killers, going for games and just killing teams, absolutely mentally destroying them in games and being like, shit, they're fucking 4-0 up. How the hell do we get the ball off these guys? And even when they lose the ball, it's like, oh, Man City got it back again. Oh, I didn't even blink yet. And that's what we're doing. We're making
I don't see I don't see that in you yet. You know,
I do, because the reason why I say it, the reason why I say that is because
what was the score at half time?
3-0.
That's why I don't see it yet.
But it's a kill off.
What do
We're
you
killing
mean?
teams off
We
like
didn't
that.
kill, bro. But that's what I'm saying. I don't right. So what I do say is now, firstly, I do think there was a lot of narratives, and I was one of them, right, up until probably January, yeah. And I feel rightly so in saying this because we can only talk on what we see, right? And what we see is that usually City come good, business end of the season, and Arsenal and this young group of players, they haven't done a title race yet. However, from the way you came back from the World Cup for me, without Jesus, and the way you performed there, for me, also the way your board went out with intent, maybe didn't get their targets, but they showed enough intent and still got targets, yeah? That was for me. It's like, do you know what? This narrative of Arsenal going to crumble for me is now down to I hope they drop points somewhere. I think they will. I can still look at some games, but I need my team to keep doing what I predict my team does, right? And that's more my concern, to be frank with you, because I think Arsenal are going to keep winning games. I need City to show the mentality. Now, this is where I think what Arsenal have shown this season, that they can win games by any means, yeah? And that is the most important thing. You win titles by winning games by any means, right? Now, today wasn't one of them. Today was one of them where you convincingly won. But there's a difference between winning games by any means and stepping into the role of toying with teams, taking the piss 4-5-0. And if we're talking about that, I don't think you're there yet. I'm not saying you won't be by the end of the season, but right now, 3-0 at half time. In that second half, I did see Fulham have chances. Now, if Fulham got one goal, do I think they would have got another two? No. But I don't think you're killers like that yet, bro, if I'm being honest with you.
No. What I'm trying to say is that what we've seen of City before in terms of just killing teams off, we're not seeing it now. I'm going to be honest. I've not seen it full season.
100%.
And what we're showing is, like, what I was going to get onto is we're showing that we can be convincing, but we can also, if we have to, turn it on when we want to turn it on. And that's the variety we're showing. We're coming back. We're killing teams off. We're beating teams regardless of the situation, even against, like, people are saying we're only coming back against shit teams. We did it to United. We beat them in the 93rd minute. So the narratives that are building, like, for example, when we're drawing to teams and people are saying, well, Arsenal are going to crumble, but the evidence is City have been more vulnerable in terms of dropping points this season than Arsenal have. And that's obviously, and also when, like, Gabriel Jesus is out, even then, we're still 5 points clear. So I'm asking any rival, instead of getting up in your feelings and being like, oh, I feel this is going to happen. I feel this. I can feel the league. We've won the league already. But feelings aren't evidence. They're not what's the reality. And what I'm asking for rivals is, where's the evidence?
But you know what it is, bro? There's a difference, and you have to be clear what people say. If people are saying, I feel, or people are saying, I hope.
No, some people are saying Arsenal will crumble, and then they're like, oh, I feel that.
No, and that's exactly. If I'm right, me personally, up until January, I would have said, I feel. From January, it's now, do you know what? I hope they do. But I'm more with you that my focus is let Arsenal do what Arsenal are going to do, right? Because unless we are the best City, it doesn't matter anyway, right? And this is where, like yesterday, to me, yesterday was, give me a good win we've had recently. Let's say Bournemouth 3-1, right? Yesterday meant a lot more to me because yesterday, I honestly, like, Palace away, evening kickoff, we're never good there. And, like, I think you probably saw in the group chat, in the 75th minute, I was like, this has just got draw written all over it. But we got it done. And I just need to keep seeing that. Like, because we know, look, we're not City of 17 to 2020. Like, that City team, when someone spoke on City's squads earlier, if you go and look at Manchester City's squad, between like 2017 and 2020, even then we didn't have the biggest squad. But the quality of depth we had was mad. Like the bench, you're seeing Leroy Sané, Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, John Stones, shit like that on the bench, yeah. Whereas now when you look at City's bench, it's not the same. It's not the same as back then.
Last year, in the summer.
Huh?
Who did City bring in last year in the summer?
Haaland and Alvarez.
And Calvin Phillips.
Better.
But then who did we let go? Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, Zinchenko, Fernandinho, our captain. So if you balance it out, if you look at the balance, we're one player down. Right.
Let me ask you.
Didn't you get Calvin Phillips this year, Daps, or last year?
Yes, so that's 4-3. We're one player down.
And Sergio Gomez. Let's not forget.
There we go. And there we go, bro. There we go. That tells you what I'm saying.
Now let me ask you this question about City though. Do you feel that which loss do you feel like is the most? Because I know that City fans weren't saying, "Oh, we lost Jesus, we lost Sterling." They were saying "Oh, Sterling, get out of here," whatever.
Yeah. For me, our two biggest losses. If I put them in order, our biggest loss by far for me is Fernandinho. He was our captain, right? Brazilian and English speaking. There's no coincidence. We've had a few issues with Portuguese speaking players this year that maybe would have been resolved by Fernandinho, a very experienced captain. So for me, 100%. And in Gundogan and Kevin De Bruyne, they're both amazing players, but amazing players doesn't automatically mean you're a leader. So I don't feel that's a direct replacement. Then for me, our second biggest is Zinchenko, right? 4 league titles on the left, knows how to play that role perfectly. We're seeing it at Arsenal that he just knows how to play the pet role of a left back. Ake's doing phenomenally, but as cover, we could rotate. Whereas now, I don't really feel we can rotate with Ake. No one else can step in and do that role like Ake does. Then I would say Gabriel Jesus, because I honestly believe Haaland would have scored more goals if he had Jesus playing wide right. Jesus leading the press, the runs he makes. Ultimately, everyone's saying Martinelli looks better when Jesus is there.
Not left?
Yeah. And then finally, sorry?
Not left?
No, on the right. 100% on the right.
Okay. He's more right-sided.
100% on the right. Okay. And then finally, and look, I'm not discrediting what Sterling did at City. Sterling is one of our top goal scorers of all time. Won a lot of trophies with us. He was essential to that period, but Sterling last behind all the others.
I feel like he dropped off at the tail end of his time at City because, in my mind, City is Raheem Sterling cutting in and then someone just finishes off the goal.
No, so for me,
so do you think
for me, Raheem, I completely reverse that. For me, Raheem Sterling's time at Manchester City was Sergio Aguero, multiple runners into the box, phenomenal passing from David Silva, intricate passing, or long balls from De Bruyne. Every other player is being marked. Sterling takes one step back, finds a bit of space, and gets a tap in. Right. Anytime the ball's over the top for Sterling to run into, he misses. So I always feel that Sterling, and there's credit in that, by the way, being able to find space is massive. But without the rest of the team, Sterling doesn't find that space.
Mm-hmm.
People hit that. I want people to hit that like button first for me before we go on with the conversation. People, we're not even on 100 like. That's embarrassing, to be honest. We need 100 likes at least, to be honest. Go ahead. I wanted to get Michael into this and ask Michael about.
Michael just looks pissed off.
Michael's pissed off because I was on a show with Michael and Michael said that I'm not accepting anything than 5 past Southampton. He's like, next league game.
I did say that.
You remember after the United game, you said you're like, I'm not expecting something less than 4 or 5. And he said that it doesn't matter what we do in the Europa League, in the Premier League to bounce back, we need 4 or 5 past Southampton to get over that 7.
They always come back with a late goal. It's always 2-2 versus Southampton in the last minute, or it's a Ward-Prowse free kick. It's always something terrible against Southampton. Only one time have we really decimated Southampton, and that was 9-0. It was great, good times. But how did you have these expectations?
It wasn't really it was more like a demand because we got embarrassed last week. So I expect the Betis was a bounce back. But in the Premier League, we need to get our goal difference up because it's plus.
Yeah, it's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is embarrassing. But now with Arsenal, well, you were on the show with Grizz. I said after the City game, I thought Arsenal's title hopes were over. I'm not gonna lie. It was like right after the Brentford result, I thought kind of like the pressure was getting onto them. But then I changed my opinion right after the Villa game. The way that they just bounced back right after that, the late winner, kind of that luck can also create momentum within itself. And then after that, you just yes, you're coming down, like came back from 2-0, but you have the resiliency of a champion now. And today, Leandro Trossard, a lot of people were mad because it wasn't Mudryk. But for me, when you really look at it, Trossard was a better signing just because in the title race, inserting a youngster that played like 10 games in the Ukrainian league as opposed to a Premier League veteran and Trossard he got 3 assists today, right? From what I've heard.
Yeah.
That's just incredible. And he has a versatility, and it's just Arsenal for me. I think the league is kind of wrapped up. I heard I didn't really watch City's game yesterday, but I heard they were pretty poor according to a lot of people.
They were okay, but one of the things I wanted to add is that you guys, something that I talked about with someone yesterday is that Arsenal play Crystal Palace this weekend, and Man City don't play because they play in the FA Cup. Man City can come back to play Liverpool, being 8 points behind. How much pressure would that add? Yes, it's in the Etihad and everything, but that's too much pressure. And also Arsenal in that week are home to Leeds. So they can go to Liverpool, Arsenal, with 10 points if City don't get the win, or at least 11 points or 10 points, or at least 8 points. That's a big gap, to be honest, because it's going to be only 9 games left. We got to remember, we're really at the business end of the season. City have only 11 games left, so by Liverpool time, Arsenal play.
So I just had a quick look at the comments as well. Souls, have I said anything mad negative about Arsenal?
They're on you, yes, Daps. They're on you.
I'm trying to work out.
Not today. I don't know.
The only thing I think I can say is because obviously people jump in, see little things. They didn't see the fact I said I'm not even going to talk on Fulham being sloppy defensively because I think that takes credit away from Arsenal. I've said from January that I've realised, you know what? I'm actually one of the people trying to tell City's fan base we need to stop this. How are Arsenal still winning narrative? Arsenal winning games. Like I've been the one saying that. Now, if you caught me saying that I don't believe that Arsenal are the killers yet, that toy with teams and score 4 or 5, well, do you know what? Like, I don't know all of Arsenal's results, but I'm pretty certain you haven't been beating teams 4 or 5. Now, the City team that used to do that probably haven't been about since about 2019 as well. So I'm not downplaying Arsenal. It's just let's not get carried away. I respect Arsenal now. Trust me, they've earned it. I've got bets I might lose this season. Yeah, like a lot of bets because I started the season. I was discrediting them, but I'm man enough to say right now they are where they are. I even got put wrong in a group chat recently because I was saying that Arsenal might be higher on points than the Liverpool team in 2018 were when we went neck to neck with them. They're just behind them. But look, Arsenal were on 50 points midway through the season. Yeah. That's all you need to know of how their season's going. So
no, the maddest thing you said was you'd give us a 10-point head start and still catch us.
No,
that
all
was
of
the
that.
maddest thing.
All of that,
yeah.
bro. I was disrespectful about Arsenal's chances of winning the league. 100%, bro. 100%. I didn't see this coming. No, bro.
I don't think any of us, no one can lie, no one saw this coming. Even Arsenal fans didn't.
If Arsenal fans want to remind me of shit like that, then I will remind every single Arsenal fan that while 90% of you, man, were screaming Arteta out, I was saying, no, you need to watch what he's doing.
I can say what I want, then.
I'm not saying which percentage you were, but it was a lot of City fans that were telling these Arsenal, man, no, don't jump ship because he's doing shit you're not noticing. So, but yeah, for me, Arsenal did what they had to today once again. Man United, the question is on. Like, that's my opinion. Michael?
Well, I don't know what you say about my team, but my team is not that good right now. It's just we're dwindling. I haven't seen us have a good performance in the Premier League for 90 minutes since like January maybe. It's like the half against Leicester was good, the second half, but the first half was poor. Our midfield's getting overrun, and we talked about Ten Hag's naivety. I think he has been naive in the last couple of weeks with some of the lineups. Like I have no idea why Jadon Sancho was starting today. He was not good for me. And Jadon Sancho, it's time to pack the bags. Adios in the summer. I'm ready to cut my losses. I generally don't rate him in this squad. I don't think he's good enough to be Jadon Sancho.
Let me ask you this question on Sancho. Because before he came, everyone wanted to say, "Oh, Sancho spent like 2 years. Just Sancho is the best in the world." And watching his tape, I never saw like that like mercurial like kind of creator thing that we needed in a winger, in a creative player. Like he's good, he's technically good, but like that intensity, that will to win, I don't think it's there in the same way. And so like what do you how do you see, like, I mean, you're saying like he needs to go, but like what do you think of like his time, or what do you think of him as a player? Do you think he just needs to move to Germany or Italy, or like what?
I just don't think he's cut enough for the Premier League.
Spain even?
He lacks the physicality of the Premier League. I've seen this guy every time it's a 50-50 challenge time, he's running away from it. He doesn't want the 50-50 challenge. At least like Anthony, I've been critical of him, but at least I know he wants to get into a challenge or a fight or something. Jadon Sancho doesn't do that. He's not quick enough.
That's very true, and that's the thing, is like being developed in Germany. He's used to having like 2-3 yards of space whenever he's doing all his little step overs and those tricks, which was what made him good. You don't get that space in the Prem. You just don't, and so I feel like he struggles with dealing with that, which is why he kind of Ten Hag's trying to move him to a 10 position. But even then, like he needs to like look at that ball over the top that like should have gone to Rashford, but he got caught up. Rashford can't make those runs. He's not a Premier League winger. He's not quick enough, or not fast. He's quick, but he's not fast enough. And so like I think he does need to move on, but it's unfortunate. But I did call it, so I just want to say.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Go ahead.
And one last thing, like with Ten Hag, I like the season's good enough. Fourth place is not fourth, third, and another trophy will be good enough for me this season, obviously. But the summer for me will be Judgment Day. How do you decide to approach with targets, contract renewals? Because David De Gea's contract's up in the summer. There's no reason to extend David De Gea's contract this summer. Absolutely no reason. We need to do what Pep did with Joe Hart. Say adios, club legend, goodbye. What Arteta did with Leno. You're not good enough for me. I'm bringing in a goalkeeper that got relegated from the Premier League because I think he fits my style better. That's how Arteta was ruthless. That's how Pep was ruthless. Eric Ten Hag saw what David De Gea did on Thursday. That was one of the worst goalkeeping first halves I've seen.
The ruthless thing has to happen. Like for me, Arteta, and for one or two people saying, "Oh, now what I'm saying is, look, from Arteta's first interview," because I thought when Arteta left City, I thought he went too soon. Personally, I thought, oh, maybe a bit too soon. Till I saw his first interview. Now, what you have to remember is Man City's best era, the 17 to 20 era, 19-20 era, was Pep and Arteta, right? And one of those seasons we got to witness on Amazon Prime. So we saw a lot of what happened in the background. We saw a lot of how Pep has distance from players and how Arteta would be the one that works close with the players, right? Now, from his first interview, when he landed at Arsenal, and he said there's a lot of people at this club, not just players, staff at all levels at this club that are pulling in different directions, and that needs to change, right? At that point, I was like, wow, this guy's a quick learner. He's absorbed exactly the kind of the approach that Pep has. Now, you're right with the Joe Hart thing with Pep as well, the way he got rid of Joe Hart. I just wish our Man United's fan base, and I know fan bases will always be divided, but one minute I hear De Gea needs to go, next minute I hear no, he shouldn't. No talk on him.
Like these are from
because he's really good as a
people will have
goalkeeper.
different opinions.
Because he's really good as a goalkeeper, Daps. He's very good as a goalkeeper. He's very good as a goalkeeper.
Mo, he is good as a shot stopper. Yeah?
Exactly.
Let's be clear when we say goalkeeper. Yeah. He's very good as a shot stopper. However, would I be wrong in saying that year on year, maybe he's getting a bit worse as a shot stopper?
He is. He's second worst in the league.
Like Hugo Lloris?
Yeah.
Right.
They're the same twins. They're two twins. Yeah, they're two twins.
No.
Right. So if he's dropping off, right, and if he also maybe, I think the main reason United fans don't like him is he can't play out from the back too well. His distribution's not great. I would imagine if his distribution isn't good, that would probably also mean that probably his comfort on the ball maybe is a bit right. So if he's also dropping off shot stopping wise, surely now's the time to move him on.
Yes, most definitely. And I will say, not only is it the shot stopping going down, it's in his distribution being poor. He's not today. He was a little bit better. Sometimes he pulls it out because he gets notes and he does well for 1-2 games. But like he's not good at coming out and claiming things. He's not good at operating on the front foot and preventing shots. He really lets the other team recirculate in lets balls go through the 6-yard box, even like things like that just breed confidence in the other team. And also just makes it so that our back line has to drop back. And so that's why
Right.
you see like the midfield getting overrun, because they have to do so much more work, because they have to cover so much more space, because Varane and Martinez are back here where they're up here with like the four. It's a whole mess, and that's
Do
because
you know what?
De Gea doesn't operate in the front foot. Let me say this
That-
one thing before going on.
Yeah, go on.
So when you saw the whole reason the De Gea thing came up was because Dean Henderson was playing for a bit in that like 2021 season, and you saw how much better the defense played, not only on set pieces, but you saw how much more comfortable and more confident they were, and everyone was like, wait a second, what, this can happen? And so you see, just Dean Henderson isn't the best keeper in the world, but you see what happens when you have someone who allows the defense to actually play their game instead of having to cover for him. And that's what happens. You see like Varane be like passing the ball back and then being like, oh shit, you're not there, because De Gea is not where he should be. And that's the thing. They're used to operating with a proactive keeper. It's not even necessarily being a modern keeper. Like Schmeichel would be better, but it's
what you've just said there in those 2 points, if there are any Man City fans in here, that are on the Edison agenda, right? A shot stopper over in a Pep system, a shot stopper over someone, and everyone goes distribution. Fuck distribution. I'm not talking about distribution. Exactly what you said. That a ball, and if you go to games and you watch what happens, and you sit maybe quite close to the ground, and you see the goalkeepers get balls played back to them, sometimes on the wrong foot, sometimes there's an awkward bounce, right? Now, I've witnessed Zach Stefan, right? I've even witnessed Ortega at City. And if you watch the fullbacks, you watch the centre-backs, with other keepers, they all drop deeper. They don't hold the width. They all move their position, right? Because they're worried that the keeper's not going to be able to deal with it, right? And then you watch Edison. Now, Edison can have Mane charging down at him on the line, right? No player on the pitch even flinches. No player on the pitch changes their position. And that is why Edison at Manchester City will, as long as Pep Guardiola is there, will always be our goalkeeper. Because to play certain systems, you have to have players that allow other players. And you're spot on with that. I get
Fantastic.
it.
Listen, absolutely great what
I
you
don't know
said.
if United need that, but with City.
But yes, Olu, thank you for the super chat. He's saying one person really called it early. He did. Olu was like, we're winning the league this year. Somehow he did say we're winning the league. One thing that you said, Daps, is absolutely great, is that with Pep Guardiola, Victor Valdez looked like a world beater under Pep Guardiola. You have to put it into perspective. Not everyone is Pep Guardiola. And some teams like Man United, if they have Ederson, and I'm saying Ederson is worse shot stopper than David De Gea, they would have conceded more goals, Man United. The thing about it, you have what you need now. You concede a lot of chances, Man United, and David De Gea saves you. Look at the Leicester City game. If it wasn't for David De Gea, you would have been 2-0 down first 20 minutes, and you would be chasing the game.
Look at last weekend. Look at last weekend against Liverpool, for example.
If you look at the stats, we concede more goals than we should. So that means that he's not a good shot stopper then.
But maybe the defense. Exactly. But how about maybe the defense is not as good as we think it is?
No, but there is a flip side to it though. Because
go ahead.
If your defenders have confidence in the keeper, they'll defend better. They'll take more risks in that sense. They'll alleviate pressure. For example, what will happen is Varane will pass it back rather than looking for like an extraordinary pass that wasn't on, because he doesn't want to pass it backwards. He doesn't want to give it to De Gea because he's like, De Gea's going to fuck it up anyway, so I may as well fuck it up. So what's going to happen is Varane gets the ball. He's looking at, I don't know, let's just say he's got Edison. He's going to look at Edison and go, shit, I'm under pressure. I trust my keeper. He's going to make the right decision. He can ping a ball to my fullbacks. He can ping a ball to my wingers. He's going to make the correct decision. And then what happens is you can slow the game down, play it at your pace. The defenders get more comfortable. They get a lot more confident. But when you've got a keeper, you're a bit like, I don't really know what to do. You're gonna basically give in to the press that another team is making. Teams are going to approach you differently. So what's going to happen is oppositions are going to get their forwards to press those centre-backs, saying they're not going to go back. The only way is forward for them. And then mistakes get made and they concede goals.
You are talking on the ball. And I'm sorry, Man United average position this season is 52%. Arsenal are 60 and Manchester City are 64. It's totally different. I know. You are having the City virus, which is absolutely It doesn't happen without Pep Guardiola, and Mikel Arteta is his
Or
student.
Alisson at Liverpool then. Let's talk away from City then. Let's talk when Alisson came in. They
Alisson
were
is a
much
fantastic
better.
shot stopper.
I'm just wondering why you just said City virus. Why do you
Because-
talk about my club like this?
No,
Mark?
I
This
don't,
is
I
why
don't mean it.
people think
It can
you've
be
got
a
an
good
agenda.
virus. It can be like what I mean. You know what I mean?
What
Like,
virus is fucking good, bro? Come on.
like what I mean is that.
Virus has changed our life forever.
Okay,
Listen,
yeah.
there ain't no
So-
good virus.
Anyway,
No.
I said what I said. What I mean is that not everybody can play Pep Guardiola's football. Not everybody can play Mikel Arteta's football. And until Ten Hag had his system and have like control the ball, you'll need a good shot stopper because you concede. Man City don't concede as much chances as other
No,
teams.
but what you need to understand is that the incremental difference in possession there that comes from De Gea giving the ball so much. This is where the distribution comes in. 90% of the time he gives a long ball over the top that doesn't go to a United player. That goes to like around the 60-yard line to an opposition player who then starts another attack. They're basically playing half court basketball whenever De Gea is in goal because he gives the ball away that much. And so like even look at the Villarreal final. Like that goal that they scored to tie it up, that came from De Gea's poor distribution. Like all of these shots that people want to laud how good a shot stopper he is. Most of those shots could have been prevented. So we face more shots because he's giving them the ball so that they can then, recirculate so they can, form another attack. That's literally what happens every single game. And then recently we got better on set pieces, thank God. But like so many things from there too, like him standing behind the line and not getting things out, goal line scrambles where he should pick the ball up inside the 6-yard box, simple things like that. Like command your box. Like you're a goalie. They can't touch you. If they touch you, it's a foul. So just go and get the ball, grab it. It's in front of your feet. But he doesn't do those things. He doesn't like using his hands, and it's really aggravating.
He's a reactive goalkeeper instead of a proactive goalkeeper.
I agree with you.
Exactly.
I 100% agree with you here. I'm trying to defend De Gea because I'm watching De Gea and I still think he's a good goalkeeper.
He's got a hero syndrome in it. It's like he makes the mistake to correct it.
But
Yeah,
very
no,
good. If you put it this way, it's really good.
Putting out his own fires. He's the best player at putting out his own fires. That's David De Gea to a T. Just putting out his own fires, his own mistakes. Like even the claiming crosses, he's 104th in the top 5 leagues in claiming crosses. There's only 98 teams in the top 5 leagues, so he's doing worse than backups at claiming crosses. Like for me, that's why Alisson for me is the best goalkeeper.
Every
in the world.
time I watch,
it's like the shot prevention. Like
every time I watch another goalkeeper, no matter what the league, even championship level, I'm like, oh look, claiming a cross. How nice is this? Just the simple little things that you don't really see because it's not a camera save. He doesn't do those things, so people don't realize he's not doing them because they don't realize what's in front of their face. It's the same, as just ball watching.
Yeah.
And it's aggravating. It's aggravating.
Maybe go spend 70, 80 million and get a goalkeeper then. Maybe get a Costa or something.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is. So this summer, Arsenal definitely won't be looking. By the way, I like Ramsdale. I'll just put that out there, Arsenal fans. I'm giving you some credit.
before he talks, he's like,
what's this leading to?
You know what? I'm beginning to realise as content creators, you can say 95% good about someone. If you say 5% bad, that's all they grab hold of. Yeah. Ramsdale, so Arsenal good. Edison, City are good. Chelsea got 2, but I've heard rumours Chelsea want another fucking keeper. They're just greedy.
They have 3 actually.
Well, that's not enough for them. Right, but we know Tottenham are going to be after a keeper.
Yeah.
United are going to be after a keeper. Who is it, Michael? Do you want? See, I know Cass and Ty are both big fans of the. Is it the Benfica keeper?
The Portugal.
Costa.
Costa. The
That's the
Portugal.
number one. In my opinion, that's the number one target because United have scouted him for a minute. He's like that. Like it's been the last couple of years that he's been scouted. But I think David Raya might be the one because he's cheaper. He's like 15 mil or something like that. And
what about Emi Martinez?
Absolutely
I'll
not.
take
I do not want that guy near my club. Nah, keep that guy away from my club.
With a passion.
Bro, if Messi's not on the pitch, this guy's not good at football. I promise you. If Messi's not on the pitch, this guy stinks.
I don't think Ten Hag would touch him neither. I don't think.
Nah. Ten Hag will get pissed at him.
Well, I mean, I've said David Reyes for you guys. Is that pretty much the perfect?
Yeah, I think that because we have 3 priorities: striker, goalkeeper, center mid. Those are the 3 priorities in the summer. I think the order. I think that's 4th, but I think strikers first because you need a guy that can score goals. We clearly need goal scorers. I think center mid for me 2nd because De Gea hinders us in possession, but he's not the biggest criminal in that. That's the midfielder. Our midfielders love the hero ball. Casemiro is a part of that. Bruno, even Fred, whatever. We need a midfielder. and a goalkeeper. I think David Raya for 15 mil, even though I don't really want another Spanish goalkeeper. The Hay has put me off Spanish goalkeepers right now. I don't rate any of them. I don't rate Unai Simon. I don't rate Kepa. I kind of rate David Raya. Roberto Sanchez got benched at Brighton for like Jason Steele or something like that, or Robert Steele. I don't know his name. So, but I think 15 mil, it's a good price. But I think his height is my only issue. I think he's like 6 foot only. That's kind of really short for a goalkeeper. And Lisandro Martinez is already short as a center back, so that might cause issues in terms of like set pieces and stuff. But I trust him on the ball. But Diego Costa is the dream. But I don't think United will spend
That's not
70
gonna be
mil on a
cheap, though, is it?
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And I think Chelsea will go after him. And I don't want to get into a bidding war with Chelsea because we all know how Todd Bowley operates. If you get into a bidding war with that guy, he will automatically win no matter what.
Yeah, he'll
So I
sign the
think
club
David
away.
Raya- Yeah,
He'll be like, you
he'll-
can
he'll-
have
he'll buy
Chelsea. We'll
Porto.
take John.
He'll
We'll
buy-
take
he'll-
Costa.
He'll buy all of
If
Porto.
Qatar
for all I
come in,
know.
though, who cares?
That is true. If Qatar do come in, they might
Now,
show
I
Todd
have a
Bowley.
question for you. So, one, I think the Lisandro Martinez height thing is overrated. He wins most of his aerial battles. Like he's actually pretty.
proven, I
He's
think,
he's
yeah.
springy. That's his thing. He's springy.
No, I
He-
agree.
he can
I
get
agree with that.
But also like just on a keeper, like I think I would go for Raya on current form, but you got to see like just what the market is, what's out there. And going back to Emi Martinez, like yeah, he's not like 10 out of 10, but he's that type of fighter that Ten Hag likes. He has that character, like that's who he's looking for as a profile. Like you see Anthony, obviously, like he's not worth 80 million, but he brings more to the game in his sphere. Like Casemiro, Lisandro Martinez. He likes these guys who want to win. Like it's in their heart. They cannot lose. That's Emi Martinez. So we need at least someone with that fire, because that's what's gonna bring you winning. You know, because someone who actually wants to win, who's gonna go for that ball no matter what.
Yeah.
That's what
Do
we need in
you
a
know
goalie.
what?
Not someone who's afraid to use his hands and afraid to jump.
That is one of the things that I'd say Arteta's done at Arsenal, is that Arsenal, maybe over the years, over Arsenal's bad years, they've had players that are higher profile. They've had players that maybe some might say are better players than they've got now. But from the minute Arteta got there, he got rid of players that some Arsenal fans would have said are better players, right? But he's brought in players that want to win. He's brought in players that trust him, believe his system, back his system, and want to win by any means. And I think that is the key. You've seen it with City over the years. With like Sanchez is a prime example. Sanchez was due to be joining City because he told City he wanted to win trophies, right? And then just before United come in and offer him loads of money, and so the board are turning around to Pep and saying, Pep, Sanchez wants to go United now. What do we do? And Pep said, well, I thought he wanted to win trophies. If he wants more money, let him go. And there's been multiple others. That's not the way you win trophies. The way you win trophies is players that, when I like, and Liverpool with Van Dijk, another example, that we wanted Van Dijk, but the minute Van Dijk wanted to play for Klopp, if a player wants to play for a team and wants to win trophies there, you let them go. But yeah, listen, all I've got to say is good win. I'm going to say it again, good win for Arsenal.
Yep.
Manchester United, thank you, because I didn't want you anywhere near us two at the top, right? Now you can play games with Tottenham and Liverpool. Like you can stay down there and Brighton. Watch out for Brighton as well, by the way.
Now I want to touch on what you said though, like about like just Arteta bringing out like or getting rid of like some of the bad influences. Look at the influence not having a Aubameyang has had.
Exactly.
Literally just shot through the roof because you get rid of that bad attitude. He's the senior player in the squad. He's been there longer. He's got the profile. And so the younger players are looking to him as the leader, as guided. That he's off here, you know, with his fancy cars doing who knows what, just having a ball and not literally playing ball because he doesn't care. He doesn't care about winning. And then now you get rid of him. He's flopping at Chelsea because he doesn't care. And you see Arsenal thriving because you have players who are invested, who buy into Arteta's system, who trusted the process, and now you're seeing the fruits of that labor. And frankly, it's just sad to see.
100%. Anyway, thank you everybody that joined us. Thank you for all these reactions and all the talk about Man United. It was very deep, to be honest. This conversation was deeper than just a match reaction, and I appreciate that. thank you everybody that tuned in. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate all the support you guys having. It's a new thing, the match reactions here on Never a Foul. Please hit that like button before you go to support us and help us push to other people. And call-in show today at 9 p.m. UK time. Make sure to check the description for membership to get priority in these calling shows, and also make sure to text Daps or Cass to get in the link for the calling show later today to have your say. Thank you everybody, and thanks for all my guests. Egal, of course, came and left, and then Souls, Miss United, Michael, Daps, of course, with us here. Thank you all for being here with us. We really appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon, and we're out of here.